On today's video, we're going to talk about an easy and very effective way to calculate single serving macronutrients when you're using things like the Instapot, the Crockpot, and the casserole dishes. Why is this important? Whether your lifestyle is tracking your macronutrients or you're tracking your macronutrients for a short period of time, it is really important to be accurate with what you're eating. If you're taking the time to actually track your food, you've got to make sure that it's accurate. Otherwise, the data that you're compiling about yourself and the food that you're eating isn't relevant. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you one or two different methods and how to save recipes and be able to utilize the information that you get together multiple times. Let's get started. First up, we need to do a little bit of preparation before you even start cooking or preparing your meal for the first time. You need a food scale and the dish that you will make your meal in. This is my Crockpot dish. It is empty, it is clean, it is ready for me to put the ingredients in. But before we do that, we need to determine the weight of your serving dish or cooking dish. Whether it is a 9x13 casserole dish, your Instapot insert, your Crockpot insert, that is what you want to weigh first. I weigh all my food in ounces. It's a personal preference, but I'm going to weigh my Crockpot dish, write down and save how many ounces the dish is so I can use it on other recipes as well. I actually keep a note in my phone of the weights of various dishes that I use for soups, stews, and casseroles. All we're going to do is take our kitchen scale, turn it on, and set the empty pot on the scale and record how many ounces the dish is. Next, all we're going to do is make your meal. You're going to take all the ingredients for your Crockpot dish, your Instapot dish, your casserole, and prepare it according to the instructions. I suggest as you're preparing your meal, especially for the very first time, go through in whatever app you use. I personally use MyFitnessPal, and I am going to create a recipe in MyFitnessPal. Sometimes you can import that recipe from a website if you're using a recipe from a blogger, or if you're using your own recipe, put in the full amount of every ingredient into the recipe in MyFitnessPal. Create it as you make it so you don't accidentally miss an ingredient. We will go through and determine how many servings and the serving size once your dish is complete and cooked, because the weight, depending on your protein and your liquids, could change during the cooking process. So we want to measure the weight of your dish in total once it's done cooking. So again, we have the weight of our empty dish. Now we are going to create our meal, and within the app of your choosing, I use MyFitnessPal, I will input the complete ingredients as I compile the dish together. Now our dish is finished. It has cooked for the proper amount of time, whether it's in the oven, your Instapot, or the Crockpot. What we are going to do next is measure the complete weight of the dish. So you're going to get your kitchen scale back out. I am also going to protect my kitchen scale with a hot pad. What's important here, put your kitchen scale on the counter, turn it on, but make sure you have it set to 0 with the hot pad on the scale. So we're not measuring the hot pad. It is set to 0 with the hot pad on the scale. I'm gonna grab my Crockpot dish and walk you through the next steps. There you go, it's hot. all I'm going to do, my completed dish, is put it on the scale, and I'm going to write down the complete ounces. I might lose some of you here, but we are going to do some math. The total dish with everything cooked was 164 ounces. If you remember, my crock pot by itself empty was 84 ounces. So we are going to do 164 minus 84. That means the food is actually 80 ounces. If I want 8 servings, and I make this based on the easy math, 8 servings, we are going to have 10 ounces per serving. And I'm going to make that adjustment in my FitnessPal. So we've done a little bit of math, but it wasn't that complicated. We took just a scratch piece of paper as I entered all of the ingredients into my FitnessPal for the entire recipe, not for just one serving. Then I cooked my meal. It was very simple. When it was complete, I remeasured the weight of my container. It was 164 ounces. The original container on its own was 84 ounces, just on my scratch piece of paper. So the cooked food is 80 ounces. I like to make this simple. It's a nice round number, so I have determined this meal will have 8 servings, with each serving as 10 ounces. The key, what's really important, is if you are using a recipe in MyFitnessPal, which I recommend when you are going to make something in a crock pot and consistently make it, is edit the name of the recipe. I will have, for this meal, I am making a salsa chicken stew. At the end, I will say each serving is 10 ounce serving. So the next time I go to make this recipe and log it, I know my serving needs to be 10 ounces of food to be accurate. That is the key to creating a casserole dish, an Instapot dish, or Crockpot dish. You can put everything together, measure it in total, figure out your number of servings. The easiest way to do that is to make it a nice round number. But the key is to calculate your serving size within your macro tracking app and write in the name of the recipe how many ounces is a serving. I hope this tip is helpful. Please come back